Going to be taking a first look at the DD Super Light Jungle Hammock. Not sponsored by them or anything, nobody's ever given me anything for this channel. So I got this hammock because I had the ultra light DD hammock for quite a while, and then I recently managed to fall right through the thing. I think it had a small hole in it, and when I moved it literally just completely gave way and was totaled. So I thought I'd give the DD jungle hammock a go because I was thinking about getting a jungle hammock anyway. One, because I was looking for a hammock that's best suited for jungles, tropical areas and things like that. But also I wanted one with a lot more space, a lot more room inside. Just going to quickly set this up and take a look at it for a first impressions. I've not used it yet. The only thing I've done is I've added the snake sleeve from my old hammock to it. And I've got hammock straps as well. So we'll take a look. So first impressions of it. There are a couple of things that are slightly concerning, but a lot I like about it. The first thing to be said, it came with the waterproof cocoon type cover as well. I disregarded that straight away. I gave that away because I don't envision me ever using that. It's not really adequate enough to be used as a standalone shelter, I don't think, and I don't ever really use these types of setups to be put on the ground, so I won't be using it for that, so there was no need for me to have that. Things I like about it, I like the additional space. It's a lot roomier, a lot less claustrophobic than the last one that I had. I like the ease of setup. It came with the whoopee slings already set up. I do much prefer these curved poles as opposed to the small ones that I used to. This was one of the main reasons I actually got this. It really just, it takes this net right off your face and gives you a lot more space in there. You get plenty of bungee cord. There's actually 2 other additional smaller ones that came with this as well. And you get 4 of these small carabiner clips. This was something I purchased separately. I had that on my old hammock. These tree huggers are also separate. So a couple of things I don't really like. One, I don't really like how you have to tie down the ends. I mean, that's a one-off thing. I'm just going to leave those tied like that. And I get the reason for doing it is it's because it's a modular system, so you can actually remove this net if you want entirely, and then just have the hammock. I wouldn't ever do that. I just always keep the net on, even in seasons like this where the midges aren't out yet. I just keep it on all the time. But there's something about that I just don't like. It's like a solution couldn't be found, so they just came up with the most obvious thing to do. I'm pleased to see as well that even though it's the super light version, it has 2 layers, so you can still put your mat in between, but also 2 layers gives me a little bit of reassurance. Like I say, I've had the super light hammock and I managed to fall completely through it. And I don't weigh, well, you know, I weigh probably about say 85 kilograms. But you shouldn't fall through a hammock. Like I say, I think that hammock did have a small imperfection and that's what caused that. But this one's doubled up, so that should hopefully provide a little bit of rigidity. There are a few loose threads and things, which I don't really like. I don't like seeing that. It was getting caught up in the zip when I was zipping it up and down and things like that. It's one of those things that, you know, you pull on a thread and you can end up with a problem. And you don't really want to be going around with like a cigarette lighter burning these things off, especially with this kind of material. So that's the kind of thing I don't really like to see, and it is in several places. Another thing I don't like is the tension on the zip at these points here. So you can see the tension on the zip here when it's pulled. There's actually a slight bit of a gap to the zip there, it's pulling on it so much. See, there's a bit of tension there for it to get round that bit of a bend. Now what I was doing was I was putting one zip to here and the other zip to here, so that I'm avoiding this angle. But as you might have seen, it was actually a little bit tricky to get into this gap. I suppose I'll get used to it, but it was a little bit tricky. Another thing is the double layer here. The Velcro that's the sort of jaggy side of the Velcro there. It's doubled up on either side. I assume that's for the cocoon portion. Velcro's onto there, which I'm not using, because you can use the cocoon portion as a waterproof undersheet. But like I said, I don't plan on ever using that, but I am kind of stuck with the jaggy type Velcro, which I think will probably just get covered in fluff and stuff over time. And there is a bit of tension on that stitching where this pole is, which is also slightly concerning. And I suppose I could put it into this hole to relieve a little bit of the tension, at least on one side, but I'm pretty sure the instructions tell you to put it in this hole. But in order to relieve a bit of stress there, and also in the zip, I'm going to put one there. I'll do that on the other side. So that's now something I have to remember to do in order to try and relieve some of the tension on it. Like I say, it's not really a full review because I haven't actually even spent one night in this hammock yet. I've spent countless nights in the original hammock. I can't remember what the original hammock was called. I'll put a a mention of it on the screen, and the DD Superlight Hammock, which was my only hammock up to this point. So I'll get some use out of this, and at some point in the future I'll do a what I think of it, a review of it once I've got a bit of mileage out of it.